Olivia from Hopeful Honey here. Today we're learning how to crochet the heart stitch. To begin, chain in multiples of 6 plus 3 in your main color of choice. So for row 1, you'll want to skip 3 chains from your hook. This counts as the first double crochet of row 1. And in the 4th chain, crochet a double crochet. So yarn over and insert your hook in that 4th chain. Yarn over, pull back through. 3 loops on your crochet hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. 2 loops left. Yarn over, pull through those last 2 loops. Now crochet another double crochet in that next chain stitch. There you go. So continue crocheting 1 double crochet into every chain stitch all the way across to reach the end of row 1. Once you reach the end of row 1, you'll want to chain 1. Then turn your work so you're working in the other direction. Now crochet a single crochet in that first stitch, so the same stitch as the chain 1. Then crochet a single crochet in the next stitch, so insert your hook. Yarn over, pull back through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. So continue crocheting 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way across till you reach the end of row 2. Once you reach the end of row 2, crochet a single crochet in the top of the chain. So remember, this counts as that first double crochet. You'll also want to change your yarn color. This color will be the color of your hearts. Now chain 2. So you're moving on to row 3 now, so chain 2. Turn your work so you're crocheting in the opposite direction. So the chain 2 counts as the first double crochet of the cluster. So you're going to continue that cluster in that same stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull back through, pull through the first 2 loops, 2 loops left, yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch, yarn over, pull back through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, 3 loops left on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So that's a cluster. Now you'll want to chain 2, then you want to skip 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then in that next stitch, crochet a cluster stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull back through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, 2 loops left on your hook, yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch, yarn over, pull back through, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops left, yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch again, yarn over, pull back through, then pull through the first 2 loops, 4 loops left, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops, creating a cluster stitch. Now chain 2, so 1, 2, then crochet another cluster stitch in that same stitch. So this will form your heart. There you go. Now chain 2, so 1, 2, then skip the next 5 stitches, and in the next stitch, the 6th stitch, crochet a cluster, 2 chains and another cluster. So remember, you want to skip those first 5 stitches, and in the 6th stitch, crocheting that first cluster. So that's your first cluster. Now chain 2, so 1, 2, then crochet another cluster in that same stitch. So the same stitch that that previous cluster is in. and you've just created another heart. So you'll want to continue repeating the pattern of chaining 2, then skipping 5 stitches and crocheting a heart, so cluster, 2 chains and another cluster in the same stitch, all the way across to reach the end of this row. Once you reach the end of row 3, you'll want to skip the next 5 stitches and then crochet a cluster in that following stitch, so the last stitch of the row. You'll also want to change your yarn color back to your main yarn color, so white in this instance. Then chain 1. Turn your work so you're crocheting in the other direction. Now crochet a single crochet in that first stitch. Chain 1. Now you're going to want to crochet 1 half double crochet in that second skipped stitch from 2 rows below, and in the third and in the fourth, working over that chain 2 section from the previous row. So in that second skipped stitch from 2 rows below, you're working a half double crochet, as you can see, working around that chain 2 section. So now you want to work that third into that third stitch, so the second half double crochet. Now for the third half double crochet in that fourth skipped stitch, all the while working around the chain 2 section. There you go. Now chain 2, so 1, 2, then crochet a single crochet in the chain 2, then chain 2 again, so 1, 2, then you're going to want to work in that second, third and fourth skipped stitch, again working over the chain 2 section. So remember, you're working into that second and third and fourth skipped stitch from 2 rows below. So working a half double crochet, working around and over that chain 2 from the previous row. This might seem a bit tricky at first, but it just takes a bit of practice. So this is your second half double crochet. Then onto your third half double crochet, which you're working into that fourth skipped stitch. Perfect. Now chain 2, so 1, 2, then work a single crochet in that next chain 2 space. It's in between the 2 clusters, then chain 2. So you're going to continue repeating the pattern of working 1 half double crochet in that second, third and fourth skipped stitch from 2 rows below, working around the chain 2 from the previous row, chaining 2, single crochet in the chain 2 space, and then chaining 2 again, all the way across till you reach the end of row 4. Once you reach the end of row 4, you'll want to chain 1, then crochet a single crochet in the top of that cluster stitch. Time to move on to row 5. So for row 5, chain 2. Turn your work so you're crocheting in the opposite direction. So the chain 2 counts as the first double crochet of row 5. You'll want to work 1 double crochet in that chain 1 space. There you go. Now work 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. There you go. Now work a double crochet in that next chain 2 space. Then 1 double crochet in the single crochet. And then a double crochet in the chain 2 space. So you'll want to continue crocheting 1 double crochet in every stitch and 1 double crochet in every chain 2 space all the way across to reach the end of row 5. Once you've reached the end of row 5, you'll want to crochet 1 double crochet in that chain 1 space. Then you'll want to crochet 1 double crochet in that next stitch, which is also the last stitch of the row. Perfect, you've just completed row 5. So you'll want to continue repeating row 2, 3, 4, and 5 until you reach your desired length. So this is how the heart stitch starts to look after repeating row 2 to 5 multiple times. Immediately you'll notice how this combination of stitches creates an adorable heart design, thus the name, whilst remaining dense and extremely cozy, making this stitch an ideal one to use when crocheting cushion covers, snuggly scarves, or cozy baby blankets. Hearts are the symbol for love, making this the perfect stitch to use when crocheting something special for those nearest and dearest to your own heart.